Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Crystal, and this is another edition of the 9 o'clock meltdown here on 91.3 KUWS right here in Superior. And over speakerphone, I have MK Ultra, a musician out of Los Angeles, California. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I can't really speak for anybody else since it's winter up here, but, I'm doing good.
Yeah, no. I am actually relocating to London, so
Ooh.
and I'm shooting the video like up north now, so I'm
Mhm.
seeing snow and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it's the life of traveling that you see all sorts of stuff. So I feel your pain.
Well, thank you. I'm glad we can empathize with each other. Let's jump into the London move really quick. Just musical careers going that way.
Yeah. Well, I started working with Tom Panenzio, who's did a lot of producing with Jimmy Iovine, who deals with Apple Music now, and
Hmm.
started Dre Beats and was the owner of Interscope. And kind of when I released the first EP, a little like it's been like a year and a half, the Hollywood Holocaust EP,
Hmm.
we just started noticing that people were gravitating more towards it in certain areas, such as England and Germany and stuff like that. So we decided we're going to start touring over there,
Hmm.
um, rather than, um, try to not try, but I've toured the U.S. before, and it's a big, big area. So
Right, right.
it's and for like who it just makes more sense to with who I work with. Like, they developed Lana Del Rey over there and Lady Gaga. It's
Hmm.
kind of like it. It's like you want to crack um, the market that's gravitating towards you
Hmm.
first and let them hear it and let things build in the States while I'm doing that. So,
Right. All right. Excellent. Well, good luck, MK.
thank you.
Yes, of course. And now let's jump into the name a little bit. Obviously, MK Ultra is not your birth name or anything like that. It would be
No.
cool if it was, but it's your stage persona. And now, at first, when I saw you up on Instagram. At first, and
Yeah,
that's how I got to be familiar with your music and your look. Both are very unique. We'll jump into that here in a second as well.
sure.
Um, but then, I tried to do a Google search and find your website and things like that. And actually, a lot of World War II references came up
Yeah.
for
Uh,
MK.
yeah. Um, Basically, this was my experience in Los Angeles. I
Hmm.
was working in the music industry as a talent scout and helping develop other artists like My Chemical Romance, and I was working with them and Greenday and those type of artists.
Hmm.
So then one day I was in my car and I got hit by a bus that hospitalized me for quite some time.
Oh.
And I was giving a lot of drugs, a lot of testing, and it kind of correlated with what happened with the government experiment of MK Ultra, which is, like you said, a lot of World War II references. For instance, the United States of America had hired a lot of people that were professionals at mind control, and a
Hmm.
lot of those people happened to be the Nazis and stuff like that would actually
Hmm.
come over to the U.S. and run tests on at college campuses and stuff like that. So the experience of that was very similar to mine in the hospital. I was so damaged and hurt that no one really knew what to do to me. So they
Hmm.
kind of put me under, you know, this drug, that drug that led to that drug, and then, this therapy that led to that therapy. So it was like 3 years of just experimentation, and after that much time, you think of everyone having your best interest, and they just don't. And much like the MK Ultra experiment that the Bushes set up with the CIA, it's still going on. And Hollywood, it's very prominent as well. I mean, and that's kind of why I named my first release Hollywood Holocaust, because it's like everywhere you go, you see the all-seeing eye and that sort of stuff, and all the symbolism of MK Ultra mind control. So, that was it's kind of still my message. I lived through it, so that's what I chose to sing about, and make songs about, and express artistically through my image.
Right. And now, in the intro that I did that we just heard, you have kind of a Marilyn Manson approach to your image in quite a few of your music videos, I'll say. I was watching them earlier, and it's captivating. The use of, lighting and makeup and costumes and things like that. Now, is that just trying to branch even further away from that kind of mainstream culture that you're talking about? Is that kind of your not necessarily middle finger, but
No, it is a middle finger. It is a middle finger. I mean, a lot of people don't get what I'm doing, and that's fine, but enough people get what I'm doing to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things, like, my artistic visions are just what I lived through in my experience and everything else. And the Marilyn Manson comparison is something I've gotten a lot since I did the first release a year and a half ago. And he's definitely someone I admire, as well as, like Trent Reznor. I've always appreciated really extreme artists that give the middle finger to the mainstream, but are still and out of this world, but still write good material. It's like, if you're too weird, you might as well be eating magic mushrooms and trying to play a guitar, and it's not going to work out very well. But it's like, first, before the weird imagery and everything like that, I learned how to play all the instruments and sing and everything like that, and then comes in all the vision and the imagery that goes along with it. And I guess some musicians lean more towards the musician side, and some lean more towards the art side, and I think I lean a lot towards both. But it's like, when I write a song, I always have a picture of, like, what the song is about. It's like the video's already done. It's just a matter of creating the video. So but yeah, it's definitely a middle finger, because I really don't like much that's out there right now. So it's kind of like, don't get me wrong. It's like, I love music, but I think if the over-processed, commercialized stuff to the point where it's just a product, I'm just not into.
Right. There's no heart behind it, or authenticity. Now we're divulging into the punk side of things here, so I'll regress back to our interview. Let's talk about you being a talent scout for a little bit. Now, I've heard the term, but I've been around musicians and talked to fellow artists like you for the last decade, so I know what it is. Other people may not know what a talent scout really does, besides kind of going out, looking at talent and things like that. What was your job like? And what was it like working with, you had mentioned Greenday and MCR?
Well, that's interesting, because a lot of people, it's a job that doesn't really exist anymore. And it's what it is. It's because the music business, it's all about live right now. So but back when I was doing A&R stuff and working with My Chemical Romance and Greenday, it was a lot of working with them in the studio, making sure they got the right vocal performances, guitar takes, bass takes, stuff like that. And also it was a lot of, networking with other
Mm-hmm.
people in the industry and knowing what artists were coming up and what they were doing, where they were going.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a lot of live shows, and I mean, it helps me a lot being an artist now, seeing that side of the coin,
Mm-hmm.
because with me, I'd always ask a band or a solo artist or whoever, would want to sign to the record label, like, what do you stand for? And, who are you? And a lot of them couldn't really answer that question. So for me, like, that's that's the most important thing. And it's like, if you don't know who you are, you're not going to be able to connect with other people. And that's what a good A&R is supposed to do, is find that music that
Mm-hmm.
connects with other people. And if you don't know who you are, you're going to have problem connecting with other people and what you stand for as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Your life can still be in shambles and a complete mess like mine, but I know who I am as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So um, it's one of those things. So, but it was really something that I think is important, because the music business right now is so DIY. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it, the $20 million budgets to promote, the biggest artists are long gone, like 20 years ago, and it's just unfortunately getting harder and harder for the artists to be heard, because
Mm-hmm.
there's not enough channels. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Let's dive into that. I guess that's kind of an interesting take, just because I talk to a lot of DIY artists, and they kind of say the opposite of what you're saying. That they went to the not necessarily the corporate side of things, but the bigger name brands out there, and then they didn't really like it because they felt that they didn't have complete control over their artistry. But I do agree with what you're saying, that there are lots of artists out there, and it's a lot to sift through now.
Yeah.
But I guess on the DIY approach, I guess what's your stance on that? Is it just too much to sift through? Is it too many channels? I mean, now we have the internet, and I mean, I watched a 30 Seconds to Mars show last summer, and they were doing it live in Berlin, and I did that in the comfort of my living room. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's that side of things too, to bring it to the fans as well. But yeah, I guess I'm curious to hear what your take is.
Well, it all comes down to what your motivation is.
Okay.
If your motivation is to play a guitar, play a 4-chord song, and sing it to a girl and get laid, those aren't the people that are really going to make it.
Okay.
As far as people that make it, I feel like on the DIY thing, it's like you have to have some sort of business savvy to go with the creativity
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, because there's not as many people to help. And you bring up an interesting point, and I agree with that. Like, it's almost easier to get modest success than become a superstar nowadays. And this is
Mm-hmm.
MK, the music business person talking.
Okay.
So it's it's kind of like, okay, we have Twitter now, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have all these different places you can find it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also not just supporting with music, like back when MTV would just play a video, like, and that would break the artist. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, the more channels you have, you're not just talking about music anymore. You're talking about fitness and
Mm-hmm.
actors and everyone else on your platform. It's kind of like how MTV was, um, the what made things harder for artists. Before Spotify and all this stuff, it's
Mm-hmm.
been a progression of making money go away from the music business, because it's like, you had reality TV invade MTV.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was the start of, like, okay, music videos now have to promote with some reality star taking a piss on themselves. So it is what it is, you know. It's like, so with me, like, I just have no filter online. Like, I say whatever I want, do whatever I want. If you like it, good. If you don't, that's okay too, you know?
Right, right. And MK, I'm actually glad that you went there, because I was like, how do I bring that into the conversation? That you are extremely outspoken. You know, I mean, I was jumping through your Instagram account and like your Facebook, and it's done in an artful way, very artful. But even the songs that you sing about, I mean, there are quite a few, and I do apologize that we won't be able to listen to them on here because this is public radio.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey, now people can go hear your music, and you're up on iTunes. I forget if you're on Bandcamp.
I'm not on Bandcamp. I'm on like everything else: Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, all those. So I didn't do Bandcamp just because they'll find it. They'll find it. If they're interested, they'll find it.
Right on. So you're kind of taking the underground approach a little bit, kind of that punk mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And that comes with, I guess, you know, Tom Panenzio said it best. It's like, I do have that punk rock mentality. It's like, but he said, you know, it's easy to be, no, I like the Ramones, but he compared the Ramones to the Sex Pistols. He's like, you're on the Sex Pistols side because you're so outspoken. You really don't care about the repercussions and how much trouble you get in. You know, and to me, like, as being a musician and an artist, like, I'm not really trying to play within boundaries, you know? So I guess that's kind of the punk rock mentality of just like, I don't really care about boundaries musically or artistically or what I say online, because whatever I'm doing, it's done for a deeper reason than most people even understand, or maybe sometimes it's just a really silly joke that people just either take the right way or the wrong way, you know?
Right, right. And now, MK, musically, did you teach yourself? Did you go to school with it? Was it just kind of the LA scene kind of got to you, and you're like, well, I better pick up a guitar now?
Well, I had been playing since I was a kid.
Okay.
So that got me into the music business. I knew I wanted to do that. But then after that whole bus accident, nearly losing your life thing, I got a lot of anger and feelings built up in me that I was just like, all right, I knew how to write songs, but that's when I started singing and just completely let my artistic way flow and come into my own just flow. It's not, you know, like, it's not for everyone, you know, like soccer moms are not going to enjoy this and they're going to turn it off because it's going to make them angry. It's not for your family dinner during Christmas time, you know what I mean? But
well, maybe some Christmases, you know.
Maybe some, but you know, that's another thing, you know, someone who listens to Adele probably is not going to listen to me, but if they're musically diverse, they might, you know.
Well, MK, you've got somebody right here that listens to Adele and listens to you, so
good.
You got one.
Because you know what, I'm the same way. People probably think I sit in a darkened room and listen to music, you know, and you know, drink myself into a coma, and that's only 60% of the time. You know, the other 40% I'm, you know, listening to Lana Del Rey or Lady Gaga or stuff like that, and breaking into people's houses. So.
Oh, I might have to delete that part.
Okay.
MK, is the LA scene kind of hard to get into? I mean, being up here in the Northwoods, I mean, it's still very talked about that, you know, you go to New York for acting, you go to LA for music. Is that still kind of the the scene out there, I guess. I mean, you hear about it all the time that, this actor moved out to California, this musician, went to LA and went into some bigwig's office, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. But
Yeah.
is that scene kind of hard to get into? I mean, I imagine it to just be a plethora of artists and musicians and competition everywhere.
Yeah, this business is extremely hard to get into.
Mm-hmm.
It's and it's extremely hard for artists that have been around a long time, just because
Mm-hmm.
the climate's different.
Okay.
You know, but the fact is, what I say is you always have to go where you make sense, and like
Mm-hmm.
for me, LA, like, I'm not really a Sunset Strip artist. I have some glam in me, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
a hairband thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Yep.
it's like, for me, it's and a big reason why I'm going to Europe first is because it's cold and people embrace, the misery. So
Okay.
it doesn't make sense for me to be in black lipstick hanging out on the beach with a beach ball.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't paint the right picture of my thing. So, but it
Mm-hmm.
makes a lot of sense for, like, if you're a Jack Johnson, or you fit into that, like, LA scene, like Black Veil Brides. They're, kind of similar to that 80s,
Mm-hmm.
Sunset Strip scene.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you loud and clear. So you're gonna go to the deep underground and the original punk scene then.
yeah, well, I scare a lot of people, and I'm good at it. So it's kind of like you have to go where you fit in, and, like,
Mm-hmm.
not not necessarily fit in, but it makes sense to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are some people that'll just look at one picture of me and be like, I'm more of a Sex Pistol than I am a Ramon
Mm-hmm.
who's from New York, and um, I'm not a Black Veil Bride, and
Mm-hmm.
nothing against those artists or anything else. It's just goes back to knowing who
Mm-hmm.
you are.
Right, right. And I think you portray that extremely well. I mean, just looking at the images that you have up on your Instagram account and even on your Facebook account too, there is no fear there. I mean, you've got pictures of you in a music video, or, one of my favorites, you're in like this darkened room, and I don't know if it's just the filter that you had on the picture or what, but you have this giant glass of wine and you're just looking all sultry at the camera. That's one of my favorite pictures of you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it's cool that you're taking a kind of completely different approach to, not to compare you to the glam rock or the deep kind of punk underground scene, but you're taking a different stance on what those guys kind of ushered in long ago, with the Sex Pistols and things like that. And then also in your music, you talk about the queer community as well. Is that just kind of a stance that you feel you need to take in the climate things are in, or is it just another way of expressing who you are?
I'm sorry. What scene is that?
Uh, the queer scene.
Well, it's a scene that I'm part of as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very all about self-expression. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's me. I say people call me a guy, but I don't really identify with any sort of gender or anything like that. I
Mm-hmm.
like to, I'm never like, oh, well, I need the boys' pants or that stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, it's all like, to me, beauty's universal,
Mm-hmm.
darkness is universal, everything's universal. So it's all about not limiting myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is the way I like to do it, so I'm going to do it that way. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something else that, to be honest, America hasn't really embraced that part of me that much. I'm not saying that I hate America or anything like that. Like, there are some people in America that are big fans of me. I'm saying, as a whole, it's something that people kind of look at you sideways at. Like when I walk down the street, I don't get your normal looks, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
It's but I think that's part of being a true artist and stuff, is not caring about that stuff and just being yourself, and not being confident enough in yourself
Mm-hmm.
to do dress however you want, whether
Mm-hmm.
it be women's clothing or guys' clothing or whatever. Trash bags. I've used trash bags as an outfit. So it's like whatever gets the
Mm-hmm.
artistic expression across.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
as far as, you know, the queer community and the um, everything that's going on right now, it's like it's a very
Polarizing.
yeah, it's in America with who we have as president, and the just it's a very confusing but liberating time. So I
Mm-hmm.
try to bring out people to be liberated about who they are, and
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily pay attention to what everyone else is paying attention to, because
Mm-hmm.
they're just trying to make you pay attention to something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, stick to your vision and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just be yourself. And that's what I've always done, and I've turned it up about 10 notches with being MK Ultra. It's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, you know, I'm going to do this because I want to do it, not because someone else is telling me to do it or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, you know. And that is a thing about the beauty of the industry today,
Mm-hmm.
is you don't have to answer to those people as much, but it depends what path you take.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for me, it's like a lot of people look at my stuff as negative. I look at it as art to get other people through tough times, because I
Mm-hmm.
kind of read myself like an open book, and I
Okay.
make fun of myself,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I put jokes in songs and stuff like that, but not like funny, like comedic jokes, just like things that, you know, you lose friends over, you know,
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, MK, I know that you have to get going here to shoot your music video, but thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me and talk with us and share your experiences and your music and everything else. Honestly, I wish we had more time because I really do want to pick your brain because you're just an extremely interesting artist and you're out there and you really don't care. And to me, I think that's a beautiful thing. So thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm laughing. I'm not losing any sleep, so
Hmm.
I'm good.
Yeah, wonderful. And now, MK, you're headed to the UK um, for kind of a next lap of your tour, and then you're actually working on a single right now. Can you divulge any information on the single to us, or do we just have to wait in anticipation?
The single's coming out Friday, which is
Okay.
Black Friday. It'll be on all digital platforms. Um, I've been releasing one song at a time now, recently, just because I have a lot of music ready, and it kind of goes back to where we're at with technology and stuff like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, if you get albums, people don't have time to listen to whole albums. They're going to pick a song, and they're going to put it on their playlist, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like, when I have a song that I'm really proud about, I put it out strategically, you know.
Okay.
So, you know, like right now, I understand the winter's coming up, and that's why I'm up here in the snow doing the music video, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really cold, and it's
Oh.
not, it's, I'm suffering for the art, I'll tell you that much. So
Kind of like how they say beauty is suffering. Yeah, I've
oh
been
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I've been there. Those
I
heels hurt, but you keep wearing them because you know you look good.
Oh, I hear that saying all the time too. You know, like, I mean, like my stylists are basically pulling out my hair constantly, and they just tell me to shut up. I'm just like, geez, they're, you know.
Uh-huh.
But it's true. Beauty is pain. Art is pain. Everything's pain. And I'm just trying to make the myself a little less painful. And I'm probably helping some people through their pain, and I'm probably making some people's lives more painful.
Well, I wouldn't take the latter of that one. I don't think so. Like I said before, your artistic expression is absolutely wonderful, and it's not something that you see out in the mainstream, or even that I really see. And like I said, I talk to a lot of DIY artists. I've met quite a few, and you're definitely unique, sir. So thank you very much, and keep it up.
All right, thank you so much for having me. Have a good day.
Yes, you too, sir. Bye.
All right, bye.
I'll take you down to another world. I'll lock you down and throw away the key. I'll take you down to another world. I'll lock you down and throw away the key. Come join us, become us, breathe easy and worship us. No feeling, no dreaming, no loving, and no hating. I'll take your